Hello everyone and welcome to Vlogmas 19. I've missed a couple of days, but I have been, I need to rest. I did. I've been balancing a 9 to 5 with Vlogmas and with the podcast and with everything else, and I finally am off from my 9 to 5 for the rest of the year. Praise the Lord, and I just really wanted to use the past couple of days to rest and to recuperate and just to get my mind right and all that stuff. So that's what I've been doing. And two, I've also been really working hard on Club Gentler. I'm going to launch it in January. It's going to be Gentler's membership platform, and I have so many plans and high hopes for it. So I've been working really hard, going through learning materials and all that just to make sure that it's perfect or as close to perfection as I can get it. I've been talking to listeners, all that, so I've been busy, long story short. But with all this podcast business, I wanted to share some of the tools that have really been monumental in helping me to move forward with things and all that. Not just podcasting, but with my own personal brand and all that stuff, just the things that have really been helping. So I have 5 things. I'm writing one down right now because I just thought about it. I have 5 platforms that you have probably heard of, but I wanted to just emphasize how incredible these have been for me. I did a blog post like this over the summer, so I'll link that down below, that has a few more tools of things that I used in the past and things that I might use from time to time, but these 5 things are really just where I really find my groove given the volume of work that is involved with everything now. So to start out, the first thing I want to talk about is the app and website Planoly. So I've always called it Planoly. I've heard people call it Planoly. I don't really know what the pronunciation is, but it has been a lifesaver. I am a really visual person, so it's hard for me to track what posts are going up when, and then also to track what that will look like as a whole. So in my opinion, your feed on Instagram, the whole theme or aesthetic matters less than each individual post, but I do like having some type of balance between a list post and a quote post and a picture. If you go to the Gentler Instagram, then you'll see kind of what I mean. Was that a plug for y'all to go to the Gentler Instagram? Anyway, so I like to have some type of balance going on, and Planoly really helps me to be able to do that. And I also like being able to have an account for both my personal Instagram and the Gentler Instagram, just so I can keep track of everything and I can see everything. I like that Planoly will tell you the best times to post, and I just like the layout. I find that with other Instagram scheduling apps and websites, they show it in a calendar view rather than the app view. So it's kind of for me, it's okay, but I need to see the way it's going to look when I post it. So I really like Planoly for that reason. I just like a lot of the features as well. There are other apps that do the same things, I'm sure, but that's what I've been using for a while, so I've kind of just stuck with it at this point. The next thing I use has been an absolute lifesaver, and that is the website Creative Market. So I use Creative Market to go and find templates for anything from ebooks. So my ebooks were designed from templates I got on on Creative Market. The Gentler Instagram graphics, most of them now are templates I got from Creative Market. My media kit that I use to pitch brands with, Creative Market, and all of this stuff I have done without templates. I can do it without templates, but the amount of time that it takes to design things to my liking is just too much. So I really just had to that's my way of delegating that task. So I purchase a template, I get the correct license so I don't feel icky about using it. And I find a lot of times I can use this, I do a lot of master classes and stuff, so I'll get a template for presentations. And I also like that a lot of packages will have a template for a presentation, then they have the same template or the same style for an ebook or a workbook, and then for social media graphics. So you can still keep a branded look without having to do all of the extra legwork on your own. And then, if Gentler gets to a point where I want to hire somebody, I can do that. But for now, I can still get that look of a designer working behind the scenes, one, without me putting in a lot of extra effort and without shelling out a ton of cash before I feel like I'm ready to do that. So Creative Market, love it. I've even used it for school. So if you don't have a business, I've used Creative Market for presentation templates in college, and they always added like an extra flair and helped me to really, if the content wasn't all there, at least it looked good. So do with that what you will. And then along with Creative Market, an honorable mention will be Canva. I didn't put that as like a main thing because I feel like most people know about Canva at this point, but most of the templates I get on Creative Market, I make sure that they're compatible for Canva. You can get them compatible for any platform. I've gotten stuff for Illustrator or InDesign, but for me, I'm really chasing after simplicity these days, and the simplest thing for me to do is to just get something for Canva. Let me get situated here. Okay, so the next tool is Squarespace. The Gentler website is hosted on Squarespace. MyFlooming.com is not, but it doesn't really need to be at this point. I like using Squarespace for Gentler because of the commerce options. I sell products, did 2 ebooks, and then I have merch. And so it's super simple. It's so simple to use Squarespace to sell things. Like, I barely have to, when I have a new thing to sell, I just put it up. It's even easy because I pre-sell my ebooks and stuff before in my courses. So the course wasn't on Squarespace. That was a separate entity because it was a Teachable course. So that was on Teachable. But anything else has been on Squarespace. And I'm sure there's a way to list a course on your Squarespace and then like link it to like the actual checkout page somewhere else. But anyway, Squarespace is so simple for me, and I love having the creative freedom without having to code things from scratch because I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to like code a website, make it look the way that the Gentler website does. And yes, I could learn. Anyone can learn to do anything, but the amount of time, I don't want to be a web designer forever, so or a coding expert, so I'm not trying to do all that. But I love it. I love that the back end is super easy, so I can hook up and integrate my mailing provider, and I'll mention that later, or next rather. I can hook up my Facebook pixel super simply. Anything to hook up on the back end has been super simple. There is no issue. I love that Squarespace also has an app that is pretty responsive, and when I'm on the go and I want to check like, oh, I just got an ebook purchase, what did it come from? Pinterest? Did it come from Facebook? Like where was the person referred to? I can just open up the app if I'm on the go and check. And I love having access to all those analytics and stuff. It really, really helps me to feel like I know what's going on in my business. So I would totally recommend that for a business thing, perhaps. I love Squarespace. I do use WordPress for my personal website, but I think if you're trying to like sell a significant amount of things, Squarespace is the way to go for sure. Or if you're scheduling any of that, I think Squarespace is awesome. So the next thing I'm going to mention, I talked about my mailing provider, and I use Flowdesk. Flowdesk is so beautiful. I don't even know if I think I've always used Flowdesk for the Self-Care Sunday newsletter. I'm pretty sure. I don't think I ever did anything else. I love it. I love that it's so simple to design. I barely do any design, to be honest. The Gentler branding is pretty simple, so it usually fits like anything that's on Flowdesk already. But it's just really simple. It's just really aesthetically pleasing. I can see things in an easy way. I know what my numbers are. I know how to design the things. It's another drag and drop designer, so your emails just look so pretty and so stylish, and people will always reply to the newsletter and be like, how do you design these emails? And I'm like, let me tell you about Flowdesk. It is pricier than like MailChimp and stuff, like for the amount of subscribers that you would have, but anytime I tell myself like, maybe you should cancel it and try doing something for free for right now, just so you can have a little bit of extra cash floating around, I can never bring myself to do it because it's just so pretty. I also just love that I can design workflows simply. So if someone signs up for the self-care challenge or the financial self-care challenge, I don't have to send out all those emails individually. That would be crazy because people are signing up every day over time. So I can't sit there and say like, okay, who's on Tuesday, who's I can't do that. So what happens is they sign up through a page I've designed on Flowdesk, and on the back end I've said, okay, when someone signs up on this page, add them to this group, and then all the people in this group have to work through this workflow. So on the first day they get this email, then 24 hours later they get this email, or tomorrow at 6 they get this email, or when Tuesday rolls around they get this email. Like, I have so many different choices, and it's so simple to do. Like, a lot of mailing providers will give you all that, like those options, and maybe some more too, but for what I have to do right now is perfect, and I love it, and I can never cancel it. So I totally recommend. And then the last thing I'm going to talk about today is LinkedIn. So I use LinkedIn for my business to find contacts. So as I start to pitch people for sponsorships and ads and all of that, I really want to make sure I'm talking to a person. So a lot of times you'll see like media at chipotle.com, and it's like you maybe would reach somebody through there, but you'll do it so much quicker if you know who the person is that you need to reach. So I just go on LinkedIn and I'll start searching titles. So influencer marketing or brand partnerships, things like that. Think titles of the people who typically do the influencer marketing stuff. And then as people come up, I'll see what company they're at. And if it's something that I feel aligned to, then I'll take their name down. And so then I'll use that name and I'll go to like Rocket Reach or Apollo, anything, to see what the email might be. So I put in their name, it matches what their email might be, or it tells you like the structure of that company's email pattern so that you can reach that person. I recently did this whole thing a couple of weeks ago. I talked about it in another video, and I emailed 7 people. I got responses back from 3, so it was pretty good, I would say, in terms of making sure I'm reaching the right people. No one said like, hey, like, I don't do that. That's not me. Or, the worst, no one said like, I don't even work there, I don't know what you're talking about. So what I was saying was that process has really been working well for me, and I've been able to get in contact with the right people so that my hard work is going to the right people, and I have a better chance of having responses at work and all of that. So with all that, I also want to add another honorable mention. With Squarespace, I also use Stripe for like payment and all of that. I think people on my site have the option of using PayPal or Stripe. If I'm not mistaken, most purchases come through Stripe. In fact, I rarely get a PayPal thing, so maybe PayPal's not on my site anymore. I don't know. But I love it. I love being able to see where the purchase came from, being able to check, like, when I had subscriptions before, like checking, okay, which payments failed this month, who do I need to follow up with? And then there are things that can kind of automate that a little bit, but for the stage I'm in right now, it's just a really simple way of looking. And then knowing like when the money's gonna hit my account. I feel like that's like key for everybody. I love like knowing like, okay, on Tuesday I'm gonna get this money from the ebook or this money from the sweatshirt, like all of that, so I can keep better track of all my finances and like the business money and all that. So with all that being said, I hope this video was useful. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, share it with someone who might find it helpful, and subscribe if you haven't already. I will talk to you all again tomorrow. Have a good Saturday. Yes. Bye, everyone.